So it is 12:19. We will commence the business committee meeting. We'll meet this Tuesday, July 9, 2019, 12:19 p.m. Student Activity Complex, Finance Building, Room 2. And we'll start with the action items to be reviewed for regular board meeting July 17, 2019. Number 1, approval of monthly disbursements.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Vélez and Mr. Ramirez. The Division of Finance presented you with the disbursements for the month of June. If you all have reviewed them, I don't know if you have any questions.
No questions, thank you.
Item 2, approval of submission of certified estimated 2019 debt collections.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ramirez, Mr. Vélez. We bring to you the approval of the submission of the certified estimated 2019 debt collection rate. We anticipate that we will be collecting 100% of that 2019 debt collection rate. Do you have any questions?
No questions? Very well.
No questions.
Item 3, approval for award of property casualty insurance renewal.
Good afternoon, board members, members of the audience. I'm Ofelia Dominguez, I'm the Risk Management Director, and I'm presenting the following action item: approval for award of property and casualty insurance renewal. Staff has completed review of the district property and casualty insurance and recommends acceptance of the renewal proposal submitted by the carrier Property Casualty Alliance of Texas, which is PCAT. PCAT is an organization created pursuant to the Interlocal Corporation Act, Chapter 791, Title 7 of the Texas Government Code. Membership is made up of Texas school districts, and participation is by interlocal agreement. The total annual premium for this 2019-2020 plan year is at $2,310,157.
Is that a similar amount from last year? Is that an increase?
Yes, sir. There was an increase. Let me go to the second page. There's an increase of $265,219 additional premium, and that resulted because of the additional in coverage, property coverage. There was a $62,372,812 $1,000. On the auto itself, there was 41 additional units that were added, and it's an additional cost or additional coverage of $4,485,617. The difference in cost, once again, it's $265,219 as compared to the previous year.
With the previous year, but we have more.
Yes, sir.
more
We do have additional coverage in the property and additional coverage under the fleet, the white fleet and the yellow fleet.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
No questions.
Item 4, discussion possible action to recommend the Board of Trustees approval of JOC number 001 2019 gym HVAC system replacement at 8800 McPherson Road.
Mr. Ramirez, this is an item that we took to our bond oversight committee meeting a couple of months ago. And they unanimously approved presenting it to the Board of Trustees for approval. We're using bond proceeds on this one. This is the HVAC system replacement at the gymnasium at 8800 McPherson, which is the old United High School.
This is not an item that was included in the bond, or was this part of the project?
Initially, it wasn't part of the scope, but we requested it from the Bond Oversight Committee, and we're using the HVAC upgrade line item. We had some additional proceeds there, and we had enough to.
Are those proceeds that were left over, or that we completed the projects that were initially?
That's correct.
Okay. What is the amount? Are you able to give the amount for the?
It's $563,000, in which $50,000 are included for contingency.
Hopefully, we can keep it to the base bid of $513,000.
Right. Will that use the complete amount that's in that account?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Item 5, approval of awarding bids, proposals, and qualifications.
Good evening, Mr. Vélez and Mr. Ramirez. Administration has the following for your consideration. RFP 007-2019 bookstore supplies and materials to the vendors listed. RFP 006-2019, HVAC equipment and supplies to Johnstone Supply of Laredo and R&M Refrigeration. RFP 2018-019, electrical supplies. The recommended vendors are CED Laredo and 3G Electric. RFP 019-2019, plumbing supplies. The recommended vendors are Best Plumbing Specialties, CAP USA, and Clark Hardware. And we also have 4 renewals for your consideration.
Of these recommendations, are there for the schools that we have already?
Yes, they're for our schools and any new schools that come into play. They're what we call our annual contracts. So anytime we need any of these items throughout the school year, these are the contracts that we would utilize to procure those items.
Okay, on the constructions, there's no equipment comes involved with the company that does the constructions of the building, right? On the contract that we have.
That's correct.
So other than that,
That's separate.
separate, and it comes on the money from the fund too, or it's a different?
Not this. This is mainly for maintenance and operations, regular ongoing maintenance throughout the year. The other items are under the bond proceeds are under the contractor.
And more or less how much would it be on the total on this?
It's based on the individual line items. So for example, all of the facilities and construction contracts, it would depend on their budget. So if their budget's $1 million, these contracts can go up to that amount.
All right. No question.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Item 6, approve request from board members in reference to use of board trustees discretionary funds for various projects and campuses.
There are no other requests at this time other than the ones that are in your packet.
Thank you. Item 7, first reading of policy CCA, local revenue sources on issue.
Good afternoon, Mr. Verlies
Good
and
afternoon.
Mr. Ramirez. We're bringing to you, actually, this is the first reading, and it's a brand-new policy. It's CCA local, and it kind of gives us a direction on when we're issuing debt. I know it's, $408 million later, but our bond counsel really recommended to have something in writing. We've been following these processes, but they just said, you know what, it's best if we just start putting it in writing. We formatted it after, I think we looked at Northside ISD, and then our own bond counsel gave us some recommendations on some language. So again, this is first reading, and then we'll bring the final reading to the board in August.
This is basically the procedures you have in place
Yes,
already.
yes,
for-
like it says that Mr. Santos, our superintendent, is the one that will recommend to the board how much to issue in debt. And then it's different procedures of what we'll look at when we are issuing debt. How much debt can we afford to issue without impacting the taxpayer? And then let's get these 2 ratings on our bonds, just things of that nature that say we've been doing it, but now it's in writing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 8, approval of memorandum of understanding between UISD and City of Laredo concerning student-parent unification process involving school campus emergency evacuations.
Good afternoon, Mr. Verlies and Mr. Ramirez. Just for the record, Mr. Santos is out of town today. Just wanted to state that for the minutes. We have the MOU regarding the City of Laredo reunification plan. We had it in place last year, but we had an expiration date on it. So what we did to modify this MOU this year is that we put a condition or term that we would not limit the time frame as to when it would be canceled. It would have to be in writing by both parties upon agreement. So this would be something that we would not have to necessarily bring to you every single year.
Okay.
So
Will stay in place.
so this is for the same arena and bringing in EMT personnel. The other one that I would like to bring to you all that was not part of the agenda, just so that you will know, is the one that we have also for Laredo College South. In the event that there's multiple issues that we have to work on, different sites that we have to work on, or proximity to the south area. So we'll be bringing that up for individual approval for you all at the next.
Would it be the same as
It's
this
very
type of
similar to
understanding?
this, yes, sir, but we just go to a different location at LC South.
questions.
Thank you. Item 9 is going to be approval memorandum of understanding between UIC and Webb County, Texas concerning student fire reunification causing by school campus emergency evacuation. This would be something similar, just with the county.
Sheriff's Department and so forth to bring in the personnel from the county department as instead of the city officials.
We'll also,
The term limit is also there so that we won't have to renew this annually.
okay. Thank you. Item 10, approval 2019-2020 interlocal agreement memorandum of understanding between the Webb County Juvenile Court and United Independent School District.
That what we presented previously, sir, at the other instructional agenda item. I do have one more also to share with you all. We do have, it's on your, we left it at your computer stations. It is the agreement between the Webb County and United ISD Juvenile JP Court coordinators. We just received the final figures from our Human Resources Department regarding the salaries to be paid for the JP Court coordinators who are assigned to the JP offices. So we have under Bobby Quintana's office, and then we would have under Pepe Salinas' office as well, where the county pays for half of the salary and the district pays the other half of the salary for the individuals who work with and work on our truancy cases in these particular areas. So we'll bring that one to individual as well.
That has been the norm as far as both entities covering the salary, right? Or-
Yes, sir. This is something that we bring annually as well. But the salary changes every year, so when there's pay raises.
Correct. Okay. All right. Item 11, approval 2019-2020 student code of conduct, internally recommended changes and authorize legal counsel to modify as deemed necessary or required by law.
That's what we covered in the instructional committee.
We have item 12, approval of disposition of technology equipment.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Veliz, Mr. Ramirez, members of the audience. At this time, we bring before you the recommendation to approve the disposition and transfer of ownership of a 6-year-old iPad to an outgoing Cherish Center student for the minimal amount of $1.
Will this be done on an auction?
No, sir, it was done through the TEA-approved form, the Uniform Transfer Agreement.
Okay.
It's been approved by.
Okay, I was confused, I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Instructional. Okay, we'll jump to 15. Item 15, second final reading of policy update 113 affecting local policies.
We have 10 policies from update 113, sir, and the one I just want to bring light to is probably the last policy, EHBAF, which is the policy regarding the cameras in the special ed classrooms. All right, there's some big changes there with regards to how we operate and what we do. The rest are just very minor changes. But in this case, the parent would have to request annually if they want to continue the cameras in the classroom. It's not just an automatic. So staff has reviewed that. We'll be modifying our forms to advise the parents that the recordings will cease unless somebody new or the same parent requests to reprogram those cameras back in the classrooms again. So we do have quite a number of special ed cameras already inside our classrooms who are operational, and we just need to modify forms to cover this new change in the policy. And the rest are your very basic policies. Staff has already reviewed those, and they're in line with our practices.
Thank you, ma'am. So we'll move to item B, informational items, finance, financial report, monthly report.
Good afternoon again. We're bringing to you our superintendent's monthly financial report as of June 30th. The investment report, though, the balances are as of June 25th. Since we were off at that time, we just went ahead and cut it off at that time. But it showed that we had $141.1 million in cash and investment balance. The bulk of that, $90 million, is in our general fund. And we still have about $988,000 in our PPXBO 2018 series. In our debt service, we have $32.2 million, but we will be making some payments on August 15th for our debt. And then the bond money that we still have left, but we are, however, selling $88 million next week. We're going to go out to the market. Our portfolio yield is 2.45%, and our current pull rate is 2.44%. Our administrative cost ratio has us at 8.39%, and we had budgeted at 8.44. Both those numbers are within what TA allows, 11.05. Our unaudited statement shows that we are at 304.9 million in actual revenues to date, or 83% of our budget amount, and our year-to-date expenditures is 329.7 million, or 83.67%. And then our tax office report, our current collection rate is 98.51%. To date is 98.65%, and we've collected over $208.9 million. Our delinquent collection rate is at 84.41, and it's 4 million has been collected for 4.90 thousand. And then there's some comparabilities or comparisons to the year before at this time. All bids and proposals awarded through June 30th are part of this report, and the grants report includes the activity that's been happening in our grants department this past month. So I don't know if there's any specific questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just like to commend the business department, or finance department. There was a great article in the newspaper, in today's paper, with the bond ratings that they had received from Fitch. And so just to commend everybody for all the work that they do for the district and our bond program.
Well said. Great job. Item 2, 2019-2020 announcement of public meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for the comment. So this announcement is, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're going to be holding our public meeting for the budget Wednesday, August 21st at 6 p.m., right before the board meeting. We will be publicizing the notice of the public hearing in the Laredo Morning Times. It's required to publish it 10 days before, so we will put it in the Laredo Morning Times on Sunday, August 11th. And I know that we've already posted a budget workshop for this coming Thursday at 6.
Right.
And so this is where we start closing up all our numbers and our revenue projections, our tax rate projections. And so we will be sharing information like that this coming Thursday with the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3, 2018 taxes turned over to delinquent tax attorney for collection.
Yes, good afternoon again. This year in July, we turned over our delinquent taxes to our delinquent tax firm. So in July 1st, we turned over our current taxes, the 2018 taxes, and our prior year taxes to the Alarcon and Sines. So I'm going to read for you the amounts that we turned over. The 2018 taxes outstanding were $3,485,576.25. The prior year taxes, which is 2017 and prior, were $3,207,335.66 for a total of $6,692,911.91. An overall rate of compared to our levy, it's just we're turning in 1.64%. So you'll see attached the report, and Mr. Guillermo Alarcon is from Alarcon and Sines is here if you have any questions.
No, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item 4, we already discussed.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Velez, I do have two additional items that I left at your computer stations. We do have approval of MOU for Webb County Head Start for a program at Centeno and Roosevelt Elementary. We would like for those to be placed on the individual item as well on the board meeting agenda. We are expanding the program to Head Start to include Centeno and Roosevelt Elementary, partnering up again with the entity. However, there is a correction there where there will only be one teacher assigned, the teacher aide, a substitute, and of course a social worker that goes in per each site. These two campuses were previously full-day pre-kinder. This is for a full-day pre-kindergarten program. However, we are now incorporating Head Start into these particular schools and still offering full-day pre-kinder services for our students. So they're, in a sense, paying for one teacher and one full-time aide at each site. And then the other one that we have is the appraisal calendar. that we would also like for you to consider for individual approval. This is the appraisal calendar for the 2019-20 school year. We'd like to get it approved since school does begin August 14th, and our board meeting for August will not be until after the start of the school year.
Correct.
And that's all we have right now.
See no issue to add the items for the next board meeting.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to public comments. Any public comments, please? No public comments. 12:40, we'll adjourn the business structure. I want to thank everybody for making it out this afternoon.
Thank you.